Hey, what's going on YouTube? Unfortunately, no market update video this week as far as looking at TCG Player goes. Instead, I'm going to have to do a pre-recorded as timing didn't work out for me to do it with looking at the live prices like I normally do. So instead, I'm just going to be giving overall more of just a one-on-one conversation with the camera where I think the Pokemon market's going in general. There's been a lot of talk this month specifically about if the Pokemon card market is declining, especially with the stock market and the crypto market having their little scare over the Chinese tariffs and all that stuff. There's a lot of uncertainty and a lot of, Pokemon cards aren't just going straight up anymore. So it's got people a little more hesitant and a little more scared than they were before. So I'm going to give my thoughts on where I think the Pokemon card market is going just in general here towards the end of the year and into the 30th anniversary. Started off, in my opinion, I do think the Pokemon card market will stay stagnant here for a little while. However, I think it will pick back up before the holiday season, specifically when it comes to TCG Player's Black Friday sale. So much of this market relies on TCG Player pricing, which is a little bit scary because it's one website and it's not even a website that a lot of people use. I mean, especially if you want to see pictures of your product, now they're not taking tax reselling certificates. You have to pay taxes on it, which is a deterrent for a lot of people. It's just crazy how much weight people put on TCG Player pricing. But every year they do a Black Friday sale and people either buy it up beforehand trying to draw prices up, but then they do like a 10%, 20% back. I wish my cat was appropriate on stream. And with that cash back program, it usually drives prices of things up just because there's so many more people buying things that it sort of offsets the tax discussion in a way. So I think specifically on Black Friday, so it would be into November when I expect to see that. So from now until November, I could see things stagnating a little bit, starting to cool off a little bit as well. As I mentioned in my last video, I am selling into this market and in general to try to get more money out just because I think the liquidity is so high right now. I'd rather be selling into the holiday season rather than buying up what I think could be a potential dip, but that's just my thought. In general, I still think, especially going into the 30th anniversary, I think there's going to be a lot of buzz in Pokemon, especially Legends ZA drops this week, which should drive some hype into this market, which could spark things a little bit, especially because Legends ZA is bringing back Mega Evolution, so that fits in perfectly with the TCG game right now, with it being the Mega Evolution block. So I think they did a great job, as Pokemon Company always does, taking hype from one product and moving it into another. So I think there will be some hype going around with the Pokemon card game going into the holiday season because of Legends ZA in general. And then we get, in November, we get Phantasmal Flames, which I think will do very well. I don't think it'll do as well as Mega Evolutions, but I think there will be hype chasing that Charizard, both the gold one and the SIR. I think that SIR is good enough, it'll carry the set. I think it shouldn't be a $300 booster box, but unfortunately I think that's kind of where we are in general. But I think the hype of that set plus the Charizard EX Ultra Premium Collection and the Team Rocket Moltres Ultra Premium Collection, I think those two products will drive a lot of hype as well, which will continue to cause the market to do very well. So I think, in my opinion, I would lean towards the market trending up towards the end of the year. But I've seen, some videos out there. Rudy from Alpha Investments is the GOAT. He thinks things will level off here towards the end of the year and kind of will remain stagnant until the end of the year, or until the start of the next year, which I could see that as well, because going into the 30th anniversary, I could see people kind of selling off their stuff, especially if there's a downturn. People think the trend is your friend until the end, and they might think that the Pokemon trend of going up and doubling every single day has stopped, so they're going to be taking some profits off there. I know that's what I'm doing, especially here the holiday season. They might be selling their stuff to fund either a Christmas trip or Christmas gifts for their kids. Again, there's a lot of people in this hobby that are spending money they shouldn't be spending, or spending money with credit cards they can't afford to be spending on. So they have to kind of, if things aren't doubling every day, they're going to be having to lay off some of the products they were hoping to hold longer term to make those credit card payments, to fund for Christmas presents and all that stuff that goes along with the holidays. The holidays are very expensive, especially for those of you with kids. So how does that change what I'm doing in this market towards the end of the year? I mentioned it briefly in my video on Monday, but I am definitely slowing down buying here. If I can find, obviously, anything at MSRP, I'm buying that up. That's a no-brainer. But as far as investing and things like that in this market, I'm not chasing $300 booster boxes. I'm not chasing $100 to $120 ETBs. I will wait for more products to come out. And I think this holiday season we'll start to see some of those products come down. Maybe not booster boxes necessarily, but Pokemon Company's printing a ton of these secondary products, these collection boxes with 5 of each pack in it. So 5 Destined Rivals, 5 Mega Evolutions, 5 Surging Spark. There's going to be a ton of these hitting the market, along with the Ultra Premium collections, which it sounds like those have been printed pretty well. I think those will bring the per pack cost of all of these packs down, which is great for the hobby. I think going into the holiday season, it might be easier to find some of these products, which will be very good. But I think that will be their focus going towards the end of the year, which means booster boxes could keep going up from here, especially if they focus their printing on those. But I'm still not buying the booster boxes at $300. I'm buying what I can. 250 has really been my entry point for these, and I will continue to buy either Destined Rivals, Mega Evolutions, or Phantasmal Flames at 250 if they come down that low, but I'm not touching them up here at 300 plus for all of those boxes. I'll wait and I'll open what I can find just from collection boxes and all that stuff, but I could definitely see those keep running or just stay right above that $300 mark if Pokemon can't keep up printing with those. However, what I could see happen is going into next year, if they're reprinting all of these collection boxes this year towards the end of the year, if next year they flip the switch and start printing more of those booster boxes, if we get more Mega Evolution sets that are better than these previous sets, I could see the attention shift away from these older sets that are in print right now and shift towards those newer sets, which could cause these older sets, these sets now Destined Rivals, Mega Evolution, Phantasmal Flames, to start coming down later into next year. I do think it will take a long time for those to come down, if they ever do. And there is a world where they don't just come down, they just stay at $300 and they go up from there. But I see a world where demand eventually wanes for these packs and they do start to come down a little bit, especially or even in their booster box form. I think the booster boxes will be the last thing to come down. Those are still obviously the most collectible, the most investable, but I do think those will start to come down eventually as we get further into next year. Things like ETBs especially, I'm being very patient on those. I think they've done a good job with Twilight Masquerade and Surging Sparks, reprinting those. Those ETBs are now down to $75 each. I think next after those two will be Destined Rivals, and then they'll focus on Mega Evolutions and Phantasmal Flames. I think they'll do a very good job getting those into the big box stores, the Costco's, the Sam's Clubs, all those, into those little bundles that they do, and I think those prices will come down as well. I think something like Prismatic Evolutions, they might stop printing those as much as they focus on these new sets going forward, and that might cause that to be a good investment opportunity. That's one that I'm still looking at making plays in, is Prismatic Evolutions, as that kind of gets rotated out. I know it's in print for another year, another full year of rotation, but they've got so many other products that they need to print that I think Prismatic Evolutions could get put on the back burner, especially with how much they've been printing it recently, that I could see that go on a huge run here, if not before the end of the year, towards the beginning of next year for sure. So if I'm making my plays, it's going to be on Prismatic Evolutions in this market rather than the other super expensive boxes, just because I think there's better plays out there for your money than those booster boxes specifically. But if we don't get reprints of those, as I mentioned before, those could go to the moon. So I could continue to be wrong on those, as I've been wrong on Destined Rivals, but we'll see if that one comes down. So that's all I've got in a short video. I'll be back to normal long form update video looking at TCG Market Player next week. I appreciate you guys for watching. Let me know in the comments what you think of this Pokemon market. Do you think before the end of the year we'll be higher than we are now? Do you think we'll be lower, or do you think we'll stay stagnant and be where we are before the end of the year? I'm looking forward to seeing your guys' comments on that, because I think there's a lot of divide and there's a lot of opinions out there, obviously. So I'm just trying to get what everyone's opinion is. So I appreciate you guys watching. If you like this video, like the video. It goes a long way for the algorithm. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already. See more Pokemon content like this. I do PSA returns, PSA submissions, show you what I'm actually buying and selling. I like to be as transparent as I can, especially if I'm telling you guys what I think of the market. I can't be telling you guys I think this is going to go up and then in the other breath say that I'm selling it. So I like to show you guys what I'm actually doing in this market, and I hope you guys appreciate that. So thanks for watching. Check out one of my other videos right over there. Catch you guys in the next video. Peace.